Hello, and I am up and running. Yesterday I did not come on, or who knows? The days are kind of running into each other for me, but it's all good. So today, the question is, was it horrible that these 8 Dems in the Senate became part of the 60 to vote for the bill to move forward? What is going to come out of it? Was there any strategy in this? Is there anything beneficial? Okay, so what actually was passed? Okay, so they have extended the CR to January 30th, 2026. Hopefully, if all this gets passed through, CR is extended to January 30th, 2026, that they will come to some work conclusion in both the House, Senate, and on the desk to be signed the actual FY 2026 budget. But okay, I'm moving forward uh, beyond where we are right now. So the government funding package that the Senate passed includes a minibus of 3 full-year appropriations bills for fiscal year 2026, in addition to combining the continuing resolution for the remaining 9 bills. Okay, so the 3 full-year appropriations bills included in the package is for military construction, veterans affairs, and related agencies, which is like MilCon/VA. Okay, agriculture, rural development, food and drug administration, and related agencies, and the legislative branch, the funding for congressional operations. Okay, all right. So the package also includes, like I said, the continuing resolution, other key provisions. It guarantees that all federal workers will be paid for the time they were furloughed during the shutdown. It's supposed to reverse any rifts. Funding for the SNAP program through September 2026. So that means that the SNAP program is funded until for the whole fiscal year. Okay, that check, that's a plus. That's one concern. An agreement for a separate vote in December on extending expiring healthcare subsidies. It says an agreement within the Senate. Okay. Yes, I was pressing hard on the thing about healthcare subsidies. And it's like a wing and a prayer with this agreement, quote unquote, that of course is going to have to take place before December 31st. So the Senate is saying this is what they're going to do. They have a disagreement for a separate vote on that. But, we know what the House has said. They really haven't said that that's something that they're going to bring to the floor. So again, we'll see. Additional funding for enhanced security measures for lawmakers and the U.S. Capitol Police. Interesting. Okay, so what are the key things that we're actually talking about? The components of the minibus package. Okay, so the 3 full-year appropriations bills include in the minibus are the military construction, veteran affairs, and related agencies, MilCon/the VA, I believe the DOD is a part of this, but let's continue. So, okay, let me go. Okay. So, again, the components are the military construction, VA, related agencies, agriculture, rural development, food and drug administration, and related agencies, and the legislative branch. So, the Veterans Health, it provides significant funding for veterans' medical care, included a substantial increase to the Toxic Exposures Fund that supports veterans affected by burn pits. Check. Food assistance fully funds the SNAP, ensuring benefits for millions of women and children without wait lists. So that's fully funded for the fiscal year of 2026. Infrastructure includes funding for water and conservation programs, environmental cleanups for forever chemicals, PFAS, and energy resilience programs within the military. Now, let me just go back to SNAP because that was my issue where that should have never been included, but this protects that, um, which is being fully funded. Okay. Then the federal workers, again, it guarantees back pay for all federal workers affected by the government shutdown, and which actually reverses the Trump administration's efforts to lay off employees through reduction in force, which is RIFs notices. Okay. Security provides additional funding for the U.S. Capitol Police and enhanced security measures for lawmakers. And the healthcare agreement. This is still was sticking. Uh, okay. Includes an agreement for a separate future vote, likely in December, on extending expiring Affordable Care Act premium tax credits, which was a key demand for the Democrats. Okay. So we do know that Chuck Schumer, he voted no. But the 8 that did vote, they are not up for reelection in 2028. Oh, I mean, in 2026. They're not up for reelection next year, which means they will still be in the Senate unless something else happens. You know, they leave or for whatever reason. But they will still be in the Senate after 2026 elections. But what this also did was the House now has to come back into session. And coming back into session, they have to actually now swear in the Arizona congresswoman who Johnson has been putting on the shelf, on the back burner since September the 23rd. What does this mean? Because even if she is considered the 218th signature to bring forth the vote to release the Epstein files, there's whispers that other Republicans who initially was not going to be signing that may consider signing it after Tuesday's blue wave. Now you're saying, but okay, it seemed like the Democrats caved in the Senate. So doesn't that seem like the Republicans may think they have a win? I want you to sit in and review everything that I stated that's in this Senate bill. Everything that I stated in the Senate bill. And yes, we definitely know that the Repubs are famous for saying, we will do this later. We will agree to this later. And somehow it never manifests. Now, if it doesn't manifest, once everybody calm down and really look at what just passed, and if the agreement and we're saying, oh my God, y'all know Dems, you went through this, you done this before, you caved in, you signed off and they didn't do blah blah. Okay, we know all of that. But I believe that if we start focusing on and pushing out, we have another agreement that they said that they are going to vote, bring this to a vote before it expires. If we start pushing that as what they said and it doesn't happen, I feel that's another nail, okay, in their coffin. That's another nail. But we have to change the message right now, because now it's, oh, they caved, they caved, they caved. Now, a lot of these things in this bill are very beneficial to the American people. Again, I understand about the healthcare because that was my thing. That was my thing. SNAP should have never been on the table, but definitely this healthcare subsidy that can expire in December, that was a stickler situation for me. But again, if we start to change our messaging and say, okay, so that the SNAP people won't be in this situation again where they don't know if they're going to get their money, that's off the table. Okay. So we won't have that situation. That was huge. That was huge. So in this bill, that will not be an issue. It's funded through FY 2026, September FY 2026. Federal workers, we kept stating that we're going to RIF you, and some of them got their notices. Federal workers, they even said that some are not going to get back pay. That is in this bill to protect that. Reverses these RIFs, and federal workers are going to get back pay. I'm trying to pull out the positive in this, okay? Yes, I keep going back to yes, the health care agreement. It's in writing. Again, I don't know. Maybe this time, because of the blue wave, the Repubs may feel that they have to come to the table about this and not let it lapse or go away. Again, we got to keep in prayer about that. I believe, I just been believing a lot and I'm trying to stay positive, folks. Because yes, I am a furloughed worker. And yes, it's been hard and difficult. And I said, stand down, stand on business, Dems. Okay. And I still say that. But what has happened has happened. And now I'm thinking that there's some underlying strategy here. I'm trying to hold off on what I'm feeling, the wholeness or the fullness of what I'm feeling and what I'm discerning. I'm trying to hold off on sharing that until as I see things play out. But the 8 that signed off would still be in the Senate unless something, God forbid, happened after the 2026 elections. That was a strategic move, but also doing that vote brought the House back in session. See, I'm seeing a what I want to say. I'm seeing a a drum roll or a building block of a situation. We're getting the house back. Yes, and they did previously reduce SNAP prior to the shutdown. And it's going to be based on FY 2026 money. I mean, 2026 for SNAP. Hi, the only male cruise. Um, but I'm seeing something here. Like I said, I'm just happy, apart from anything, that SNAP will be in place for FY 2026. There have been some cuts. Yes, um, of course, you certify each year anyway, but they won't be in this quandary like they have been. But let's look. I read out what was in the minibus. Still, the big thing again is that healthcare, and I know I'm still with you on that. But with the agreement, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But I just want to say this brought the house back. There's other things that's been leaking out in regards to these files. And yes, if it gets pushed through, we already know that they have redacted a lot of the files. Remember, Cash Patel and Bondi and them, they had over like 1,000 FBI agents actually tolling over all these files to redact the name that I won't speak, but I'll say the White House um, renovator. That's what I'll say. The man that's renovating the White House to become a golden palace. They redacted that name. 1,000 FBI agents used those hours instead of investigating crimes. They were redacting documents. So some things may be a little altered, but believe me when I say those are not the only copies. So just know that. But I'm just saying we're going to just pull out the positive out of this. Yes, my heart did leap when I said, oh my goodness, they done signed off. But I read what they signed off on. And yes, that still is a little whatever about the agreement. I'm going to keep saying it because we've known in the past that they have not kept their word about dealing with something later. But we're going to see. If it doesn't happen, then that's we need to harp on it. We need to harp on it, and not on the fact that Dems cave, but on the fact that the integrity of these folks that are making agreements and not holding to their word, that needs to be on full display. So that's all I have to share today. I just wanted to get on here to kind of like give my perspective after I calmed down and kind of sat back and really looked at this and prayed about it and did my trying to, discern some underlying strategies going on. And all we can do is just keep moving forward and just praying, because now it still has to go to the House. That's why the House is in session. They're supposed to be in session tomorrow at 2 p.m., giving everybody enough time to fly in from their prospective states. Most of the Dems were already here. So after they do their vote, then if it passes, then it's going to the desk to be signed. It may be signed. I don't know. Because you know how the renovator of the White House moods change. He wanted the government open, but he wanted the Senate to nuke the bill forward to break the filibuster and not really negotiate anything. So he might be upset about that and not sign it. He might be upset that he was booed at the Commanders game. Who knows? We just, we holding our, well, I'm not holding my breath. And I'm telling you, don't hold your breath, because we just don't know. But the bottom line is we just got to continue to pray. We'll see. We may be open on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week before the holidays, Thanksgiving holidays. We'll see. But if you could just read, read for yourself, because you can Google it. But just kind of think about what was laid out, what was passed, what happened with that going forward. It brought the House back, which was something they were trying to hold up from doing. It brought the House back. Where now the Arizona Congresswoman will be sworn in. She's the 218th signature, but it may be a few more Republicans joining in, which will almost guarantee that it has to go to the floor for a vote in the House for the files to be released. So we're just going to see how this goes. And I say again, what did the disciples say to Jesus? They said, how should we pray? And he said, we should say, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever and ever. We say amen. So have a great rest of the day, and let's just keep on keeping on and keeping the faith, keeping hope alive, and just believe that all things will work together for the good. Have a good evening.